With most of the insulated panels finished, it was time to start working on the 1/2 inch plywood case. The cabinet is going to be 2/3 an insulated enclosed cabinet with a door to hold the battery chargers and batteries and glue and other items that need to be kept warm. And then the remaining 1/3 of the cabinet will be used to store all of the cordless tools to go with the batteries. They don't need to be kept warm, so they'll just be open display. So I started off cutting most of the pieces of 1/2 inch plywood to width. And then once all the sections were cut to width, I moved across to the miter saw and started cutting to length. This miter station is based on J. Bates' design and has a stop block there with a ruler. Makes it very easy to do repeatable cuts and also to cut to exact length. So typically when I'm doing something like this, I cut all of the pieces that are the same length, one after another, and then switch to the next length and cut all of the pieces at that length. That way there's no chance of any errors between the cuts. Okay, with everything cut to length, and then move back to the table saw, and I'm going to be using some partial dadoes, following on from John High's recommendation for joining this plywood together. But rather than use the standard blade in there that's approximately 1/8 of an inch, I've switched to a blade from a box cutting set. And this blade is a little bit wider, it's more like 1/4 of an inch, but in particular it has a flat bottom, so it gives me some very precise dadoes. And what I'm doing here is just increasing the blade height very slightly each pass to get the exact depth I'm looking for. And I also adjusted the fence so that it's cutting the dado at exactly the width of the plywood in from the edge. Now I'm using a sacrificial fence, buried the same blade into the fence and adjusted the height so that I'm now getting a perfect partial dado joint there. So now everything's dialed in, move on to the actual pieces and cut the tongues on those. And that's all the cutting done.